It's 6:30 in the morning and you're already awake, eyes fixed on the ceiling, your chest tight with the familiar ache of anxiety. Your mind races through an endless checklist, work deadlines, tasks you didn't finish yesterday, conversations you're dreading, bills due next week. It's relentless, this silent pressure that greets you even before sunrise, whispering urgently, you're behind, you're running out of time. But maybe for you, it's not the morning. Maybe it's that uneasy feeling at night when the quiet darkness amplifies every worry you've ever had, making sleep impossible. Or perhaps it strikes in the afternoon when you're surrounded by others yet feeling utterly alone, silently questioning whether you're truly living or just surviving day by day. If you recognize this subtle ache of worry, this constant sense that real happiness is somewhere out there just over the next horizon, you're not alone. Nearly 70% of adults today feel chronically anxious about the future, caught in a quiet epidemic that psychologists call future anxiety. It's exhausting because no matter how fast you run, how much you achieve, how hard you push yourself, peace always feels slightly out of reach. Here's a simple truth you've likely forgotten. Life isn't waiting for you somewhere out there in the future. Life is unfolding right now in this breath, in this heartbeat, in the very moment you habitually overlook while your eyes remain fixed on tomorrow. Philosopher Alan Watts once observed, "No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that is going to happen." Think about that carefully. How much of your precious life have you sacrificed, worrying about moments that never actually arrived? You've believed anxiety proves how deeply you care, how driven you are, but here's the paradox that's quietly destroying your peace. The more relentlessly you chase happiness and security tomorrow, the less of both you'll experience today. Consider this clearly. What if the happiness you've tirelessly chased isn't hiding somewhere in tomorrow's success, but is quietly available in the life you already have, patiently waiting for you to finally notice it? Could the relief you've searched for, the calm you crave, be hidden not beyond some distant horizon, but in the softness of this very moment? You're not behind, you're not lost. Take a deep breath right now, feeling your lungs fill slowly, purposefully. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Relax into this truth and allow it to sink deeply into your heart. Your real life is already here. Relax, you're here. From an early age, you've been taught that strength means controlling your environment, planning every detail, predicting every problem, gripping every outcome. Society celebrates your ability to juggle responsibilities, master uncertainty, and hold your world together, even when you're quietly unraveling inside. But let's pause for a moment and ask honestly, how well is that really working for you? Perhaps you felt it most sharply during tense moments at work, preparing anxiously for a big meeting, scripting every word in your head, rehearsing scenarios, fearing rejection or failure. Or maybe it's at home, navigating relationships by carefully managing conversations, hoping to avoid conflict or disappointment. Yet, despite all your careful preparation, life rarely cooperates fully, and anxiety continues to grip your heart. The Stoic philosopher Seneca revealed this wisdom long ago. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Reflect carefully on this truth. How many disasters have you lived through vividly in your mind? Disasters that never actually happened. Modern psychology echoes Seneca's insight, confirming that nearly 85% of the things you worry about never materialize. Yet each imagined crisis drains your energy, steals your peace, and leaves you feeling helplessly exhausted. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists." This is the heart of your struggle. The tighter you cling to control, the more anxiety you create, because deep down, you know life remains inherently unpredictable. It's like gripping sand. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away, leaving your hands empty and your spirit exhausted. You've believed that surrendering control means admitting weakness, losing ground, giving up. But here's the profound paradox you may never have considered. True strength, real courage, isn't found in your grip on life, but in your willingness to relax into uncertainty. It's about trusting yourself deeply enough to believe you'll handle whatever life brings, even if you can't predict it or control it. Imagine just for a moment how different your days might feel if you stopped fighting life's natural currents. What if, instead of tightening your grip, you opened your hands to the gentle flow of uncertainty? What if your desperate need for control has been the very thing blocking you from experiencing genuine calm, deep joy, and lasting peace? Breathe deeply now, feeling a quiet strength rising within you, and consider the possibility that trusting life and yourself is the ultimate act of courage. You're not weak for letting go, you're wise. And when you finally surrender your tight grip on what you can't control, you discover something remarkable: the calm, clarity, and profound freedom you've been searching for. Relax, you're here. There's an ancient Japanese story about a stonecutter who spent his days chiseling rock beneath the scorching sun, quietly dreaming of a different life. Every strike of his hammer echoed his dissatisfaction. One day, he found himself wishing he could escape the hardship of his humble existence, becoming a wealthy merchant instead. And so his wish was granted. But soon he discovered wealth brought fear of thieves and loss. Frustrated, he then wished to be a mighty prince, but even power left him vulnerable to envy and betrayal. Driven by desperation, he wished to become the sun, believing this unmatched strength would finally grant him peace. Yet, as the sun, clouds could still obscure him. Determined, he became a cloud, only to be helplessly swept along by the wind. Finally, convinced that absolute stillness was the answer, he became an unmovable mountain, only to feel the piercing pain of a stonecutter chiseling his side. At that moment, clarity struck him. He had always been chasing illusions. True peace wasn't in running away from struggle. It was found precisely in embracing his authentic self, exactly where he began. Pause now and consider your own life carefully. Like the stonecutter, you may have secretly wished to escape your own struggles, thinking if you just achieved enough success, money, or stability, your pain would vanish. Yet somehow each victory feels incomplete. Each goal leaves behind a quiet emptiness. Why? The renowned psychologist Carl Jung explained that within each of us lies a shadow, the hidden parts we'd rather deny, like fear, grief, or insecurity. But Jung revealed something profound. These shadows aren't enemies to conquer. They're wise teachers guiding you back to yourself. The very struggles you resist contain secret treasures, deep lessons of resilience, compassion, and strength, lessons only pain can teach. Imagine for a moment a young woman who, after years of loyalty to her career, suddenly loses her job. Her sense of identity shatters overnight. Initially, she feels helpless, worthless, betrayed. But slowly, through the struggle, something remarkable happens. Forced to confront her deepest fears, she discovers a new passion, one that aligns with who she truly is. Through hardship, she emerges not weakened, but profoundly transformed, living a life she never imagined, yet always deeply desired. Your own journey mirrors hers. Every painful experience, whether it's heartbreak, loss, or failure, quietly invites you to evolve, to find hidden strength within yourself. Eckhart Tolle wisely said, "Life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness." Your pain isn't punishment, it's a gentle, persistent teacher guiding you towards deeper self-understanding, empathy, and inner peace. What if you paused right now, took a gentle breath, and considered your current struggles differently, not as problems to solve, but as invitations to grow? What if your pain is secretly shaping you into someone wiser, kinder, and stronger than you ever imagined you could become? Relax deeply into this truth. Your struggles have purpose, your journey is meaningful. Right here, right now, every challenge you face contains a hidden gift quietly waiting for you to notice it, embrace it, and be transformed by it. Relax, you're here. You've been taught your entire life that vulnerability means weakness, that strength is hiding your fears, burying your doubts, and showing the world only what's polished, controlled, and confident. Society rewards these carefully constructed facades, careers built around flawless personas, relationships shaped by carefully guarded hearts. Yet quietly, beneath your carefully managed exterior, you've sometimes felt profoundly alone, trapped by your own expectations and isolated by the fear of truly being seen. The great psychologist Carl Jung described this hidden tension vividly. Each of us wears a persona, a mask we show the world to earn approval and acceptance. But beneath this mask lies your true self, a beautifully imperfect person who feels doubt, uncertainty, and fear. Jung warned that over-identifying with the persona ultimately leads to deep dissatisfaction, a sense of emptiness, and a loss of authenticity. But what if you've misunderstood vulnerability all along? What if vulnerability isn't weakness, but actually the most courageous thing you can offer the world? Brené Brown, the renowned researcher on courage and vulnerability, discovered something extraordinary. Vulnerability is the birthplace of true strength, meaningful connections, and authentic joy. Imagine for a moment someone stepping into a high-stakes meeting at work. Instead of hiding behind false confidence, they speak honestly about their concerns, doubts, and ideas. Initially, this feels terrifying, exposing their true self, imperfections and all. Yet suddenly, colleagues resonate with their honesty, collaboration deepens, trust flourishes, and remarkable creativity emerges. What appeared as weakness becomes a powerful catalyst for genuine strength, connection, and success. Your vulnerability, the very thing you've been conditioned to hide, contains your greatest potential for real, authentic happiness. Alan Watts once remarked, "Waking up to who you are requires letting go of who you imagine yourself to be." Pause for a moment and let that sink in. What if you stopped performing the role of who you think you're supposed to be and simply allowed yourself to become who you genuinely are? Picture a world in which you no longer feel the exhausting pressure to maintain appearances, a life where your imperfections are seen as courageous, where your fears become opportunities for deeper connection, and where honest vulnerability earns genuine trust, respect, and affection. Right now, take a deep, gentle breath and allow yourself to truly consider this possibility. You, exactly as you are, imperfections, uncertainties, and all, are profoundly enough. You don't need another mask. You don't need to perform another role. Your courage to be vulnerable, to be real, to simply be you is exactly what the world deeply needs. Relax into this powerful truth, trust your vulnerability, celebrate your authentic self. Because it's here, in the courageous act of being fully human, that you finally discover true strength, true connection, and lasting peace. Relax, you're here. There's an ancient parable of a Chinese farmer who mastered the art of trusting life's uncertainty. One morning he awoke to discover his only horse had run away. The villagers rushed to console him, lamenting his bad luck, but he quietly replied, "Maybe." Days later the horse returned, leading a group of magnificent wild horses. What incredible luck, the villagers celebrated. Again the farmer calmly responded, "Maybe." Soon afterward, his son broke his leg while attempting to tame one of the wild horses. The villagers mourned this unfortunate event, but the farmer, unshaken, merely whispered, "Maybe." Finally, when military officers stormed the village, drafting young men for a bloody war, the farmer's son was spared due to his injury. Astonished, the villagers praised the farmer's wisdom, but once more he simply said, "Maybe." Pause carefully now and consider deeply what this farmer understood about life. Unlike so many, he didn't desperately grip at certainty or anxiously chase control. He knew intuitively that life's true strength lies not in gripping outcomes, but in courageously trusting the unknown. Yet, for most of your life, you've likely done exactly the opposite. You've planned meticulously, predicting each step, bracing against every uncertainty, believing deep down that control would shield you from pain or disappointment. But reflect honestly now, has relentless control ever truly protected you from uncertainty? Or has it quietly exhausted you, drained your joy, and trapped you in anxiety? Carl Jung spoke profoundly of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences appearing precisely when you surrender control. You've likely experienced this. The perfect opportunity emerging only after you've stopped obsessing over outcomes, unexpected answers arriving only after you've ceased relentlessly seeking them. Imagine vividly a young man trapped for years in a secure yet unfulfilling job, terrified to leave for fear of uncertainty. Every day he clings anxiously to what he knows, afraid of losing control. Finally, exhausted and unable to continue, he chooses to surrender, trusting life's natural intelligence. To his amazement, new doors open effortlessly, opportunities appear, relationships flourish, and genuine happiness returns. The act he once feared most, letting go, had quietly become his most profound breakthrough. Right now, breathe gently and consider deeply your own life. What uncertainty have you desperately tried to control? What would happen if, instead, you courageously surrendered, trusting yourself deeply enough to handle whatever life brings? The ancient Taoists describe this wisdom as Wu Wei, or effortless action, not passive resignation, but active alignment with life's natural flow. Picture yourself gently floating down a calm river. You don't fight the current, you trust it, flowing effortlessly around obstacles. What if your life could become that gentle, that effortless, not by anxiously forcing outcomes, but by trusting deeply in yourself and life's unfolding? As you breathe deeply now, feel yourself gently letting go of anxiety, control, and fear. Feel yourself quietly entering a state of courageous trust, confident that life in all its mystery is quietly guiding you exactly where you need to be. Allow this profound realization to settle within you deeply and permanently. Surrender isn't weakness, it's your truest strength. Trust the unknown and life itself will carry you gently forward. Relax, you're here. You've spent so much of your life chasing distant horizons, convinced happiness and peace lie just beyond your next achievement, just after the next job, the next relationship, the next goal. But somehow, despite all you've accomplished, true satisfaction remains elusive, always slightly out of reach. You've kept running, kept reaching, but now pause for a moment and consider this quietly profound question. What if everything you've been tirelessly seeking is already here, waiting patiently within the quiet, overlooked moments of your everyday life? The philosopher Alan Watts once revealed a simple yet astonishing truth. The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple. Yet you and countless others have likely spent years looking past this simple wisdom, chasing meaning elsewhere, somewhere in a distant future moment. Imagine right now a vivid scene. You're walking through a quiet forest at sunrise. Golden sunlight filters gently through the leaves. Warmth softly touches your skin. Birds sing quietly overhead, and for a moment, just one sacred, peaceful moment, you're completely present. No worry about tomorrow, no regret about yesterday, just deeply, vividly alive, exactly where you are. Can you feel how extraordinary that moment would be? That's the quiet miracle of presence, of being here right now. Pause and feel yourself breathing deeply, purposefully. Notice your heartbeat, rhythmically marking your quiet, steady presence. This heartbeat, this breath, this very instant, this is your life. Not somewhere out there in tomorrow's accomplishments, but here, right now, in the quiet stillness of this moment. You've spent your life measuring success by productivity, achievement, and endless striving. But what if the real measure of your life is presence, not how quickly you've raced through it, but how deeply you've inhabited each moment? What if the joy you've tirelessly chased, the peace you've so desperately wanted, is patiently waiting for you to simply notice it, quietly present within the small sacred details of today. Picture vividly now waking up tomorrow, not burdened by the anxiety of needing to achieve more, but deeply grateful simply for being alive. Imagine choosing intentionally to savor each moment, the taste of your morning coffee, laughter shared with someone you love, the quiet warmth of sunlight on your face, these small, ordinary miracles that you've habitually overlooked. Now breathe deeply again and consider this clearly. Your life isn't somewhere else, it's here. You aren't late, you're exactly on time. You haven't missed anything. You've arrived exactly where your true life begins. Take one more slow, intentional breath, fully absorbing this truth. Your endless search can finally end because everything you've sought is here, right now, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in the gentle stillness of this very moment. Let this realization transform you deeply, permanently, profoundly. You're already here. Relax deeply into this knowing. Embrace fully the quiet miracle of your presence. Allow gratitude, joy, and peace to quietly enter your heart, forever changing how you live each moment from now on. Relax, you're here.